Doma Sports Talk Worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Well, we got 2 days to go for that fight with Canelo Alvarez and Billy Joe Saunders for about three titles in the 168-pound division, super middleweight division. I just don't like to mention the WBC crown because Canelo didn't really have to fight for that one. He was just given to him. So it's kind of unfortunate that that one is not there for him to fight for, like against Benavidez. But anyway, him and Billy Joe Saunders, the fight was off and then it's on again. You know, they're going through it. They've been through a face-off, talking a little smack to each other, just like normal what's happening. But actually the ring situation, the ring being a certain size, that's been solved more or less. I think both parties are a little bit happy with that. Now here's something that's interesting. All right, Demetrius Andrade. Right? Demetrius Andrade has offered his services, you know, via Twitter, I think it was. And he said, I'll fight both of you female dogs. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what that is, the B word. Both of you. What he's been calling Canelo for 6 years. You know, he wanted to fight Billy Joe Saunders, but Billy Joe Saunders was doped. And Billy Joe Saunders still gets the Canelo fight, even though he was doped. Right? That's what led Canelo and Billy Joe Saunders to call each other dopers in the face-off. But this is just a tribute to what Demetrius Andrade just had a fight 2 weeks ago at 160 pounds, right? And he's like, hey, you know, I knew it. He'd be walking around by 168, so he would be able to come in. But they would rather fly in from England, right, John Ryder. And I was thinking, you know, so all these brothers here ready to fight here, right, you know, in America, right? Nope. We'd rather fly in John Ryder just in case Billy Joe Saunders walks off on the fight. But there's one a little bit closer in Demetrius Andrade who would be willing to take that fight against either one of these guys. And your boy Demetrius Andrade did this with same thing with Gennady Golovkin. When Gennady Golovkin was looking for a fighter because he couldn't get Canelo, and he was looking for something, you know, fighter to fight. We was looking at Vanis Rosen and guys like that from divisions lighter than him at the time. And your boy Demetrius Andrade said, hey, you can have me anytime. And then that's when Gennady Golovkin, hold up, I don't want any softballs, right? And then still, Demetrius Andrade, well, you know I can switch up. I'll fight you orthodox. They ignored that and then ended up fighting Vanis Rosen, who came from, over a year and a half layoff and, you know, a loss, and from a lower weight division. You know, so those are the kind of things that Demetrius Andrade does all of the time. You know, people don't mention it. You know, none of the articles are saying that, but he's offered his service after just fighting 2 weeks ago to step in for this fight. That's why I told you, get this stuff together quickly. Right, and Demetrius Andrade has the history with Canelo. He's been asking for this fight for the longest. He was the champion at 154. Canelo was his mandatory, and Canelo did what Jaime Munguia did. Basically, I'm not fighting no Demetrius Andrade, even though I'm the mandatory. That's what Canelo did. Demetrius gets strips, they give it to Leon Smith, then Canelo fights him. Right, Jaime Munguia does the same thing, right, with this guy. And, you know, so what is he? He was begging back then, 6, 7 years ago. Hey, you know, female dog, why don't fight me? I thought people want the championship belt when you're the mandatory. Begging. It can't get him. And when you ask Canelo about Demetrius Andrade, he gets an attitude. And the media lets him. So this is just important news for the people who's always, Demetrius doesn't deserve it. He's boring. He's this. He's a champion in the two-weight division who has been chasing Canelo the whole time and would step in for this fight here instead of a John Ryder. But ain't nobody mentioning him. We're doing that here. That's why I'm not watching it, because actually Billy Joe doesn't deserve it. And actually Canelo doesn't deserve to be called the face of boxing when we know it's fighters that he won't fight. You know, he won't fight any Mexicans anymore, and the reason that is because the ones he would have to fight would have to be David Benavidez at 168 or Gilberto Ramirez at 175. Both of them want to fight him, but Canelo's not fighting any more Mexicans, and we know we ain't fighting these brothers. So who the hell is he fighting? The John Ryders, the Yildirams, you know, bring people from Europe to the States to fight. Think about that. You're interested? Doma Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.